and welcome to Math Matters. I'm Dr. Jameson. And today we're going to explore the connection between multiplication and division. You'll need the following materials today: your bag with the arrays that you created, some paper, something to write with, and scissors. You will only need the scissors if you are making the arrays today for the first time. I'll give you a minute to gather those materials. Welcome back. We're going to start out with an array chat. What do you notice about this image? I bet you noticed a lot of different things. Did you notice that these were scoops of ice cream? Did you notice that they kind of look like they're in a rainbow order? And that the colors might go diagonal? Did you notice all the different colors there? Did you notice that the scoops are about the same size? There are a lot of things that we noticed. Something else you might have noticed is that there are 6 rows of 5 scoops. How many do you see, and how do you see them? Earlier, we noticed that there were 6 rows of 5 ice cream scoops. So some of you might have used that information to solve. You may have counted by 5s 6 times to get to 30 scoops of ice cream. You may have also just known that 6 times 5 or 5 times 6 equals 30. Because when we're doing multiplication, we can switch the order of the factors and we'll still have the same amount. Let's take a minute to think about how we can relate division to what we just did. We now know there are 30 scoops of ice cream in this image. Think about what division equation could we use to represent this now. We could think about it this way. If we have 30 scoops of ice cream divided into 6 rows, that gives us 5 in each row. So 30 divided by 6 equals 5. What other division equation could we use? We can also think about it as 30 scoops of ice cream divided by 5 scoops in each row gives us 6 rows. That equation would be 30 divided by 5 equals 6. So, when we look at this image as 6 rows of 5 with 30 scoops of ice cream, here are some of the equations we just came up with. 6 times 5 equals 30. 5 times 6 equals 30. 30 divided by 6 equals 5. And 30 divided by 5 equals 6. Another way you might have thought about figuring out how many scoops of ice cream there are is by using what you know about there being 5 in each row. So you can combine 2 rows to make a group of 10. So we can make 3 groups of 10. And the multiplication equation that matches that is 3 times 10 equals 30. We also know that we can think about how we have 10 3 times. So we can say 10 times 3 equals 30 as well. What division sentences matches with this image? You might have thought about if there are 30 scoops of ice cream and we're dividing them into 3 groups, that gives us 10 in each group. So 30 divided by 3 equals 10. Or we could say the 30 scoops are divided into groups of 10, and that gives us 3 groups. So that means 30 divided by 10 equals 3. Here are the 4 equations we came up with when we thought about the 30 scoops of ice cream in 3 groups of 10. What do you notice about the equations? Today, we explored how multiplication and division are related. And we came up with equations for both operations to represent this image. Let's take a moment to reflect on today's learning. I want you to think about or write down your ideas about these 2 questions. The first one is, where are you in your thinking about how multiplication and division are related? And the second one says, how might this be helpful to you as a mathematician? So take a few moments to answer both those questions, or turn and tell someone that's sitting next to you. I can't wait to hear your explanation of what you came up with. So in our next episode, we will think about how we can use what we know about multiplication and division to solve problems. Thank you for watching today. I'm Dr. Jameson. I hope you have a mathematical day and keep on counting.